But as he himself said in a different context concerning reopening the American economy, nobody wants the cure to be worse than the disease.
Well, where are we in that search? And separating facts from fiction, we call upon Dr. Kevin Sneed, a professor at the University of South Florida, Dean of the College of Pharmacy there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good evening.
The Trump administration has pledged $1.2 billion to drug maker AstraZeneca to develop 300 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine developed at Oxford. Can you tell us about this treatment?
Absolutely. The vaccine at Oxford has actually been in production for actually a period of time. Oxford has been doing clinical research on coronavirus vaccines for several years now. So when the novel coronavirus became available right now, they actually were able to turnkey what they had been studying for many years into what could be a very viable clinical option for us right now.
Now, is the timeline viable? We're hearing they want to roll some out by October and the rest by the end of the year. By going through the whole trial system, does that sound reasonable?
Most of us in the scientific community, we've never seen anything around vaccine development happen that quickly. However, I can tell you, simply because of the fact that they have been working on this for some time now, and they've developed platforms, there may be a possibility. What they've actually decided to do is to kind of hedge their bet and begin production of the vaccine in various forms, so that if they find the exact right dose, they will already have a head start on production.
Now, President
So there is a possibility that it could happen.
Understand. Okay. Well, President Trump says he takes hydroxychloroquine as a protection against COVID-19. What, if any, is the validity to the claims that the drug can work that way, even when the FDA reports it can be extremely dangerous if improperly used?
Yeah, once again, most of us in the scientific community, we've been really paying attention to the clinical trials that exist right now. A key study was done up in New York that really indicated that it did not have any benefit for those patients that were severely ill. There was another study that was done that kind of prompted and started this whole thing that was done in France, but it was only done in about 42 patients, and we really didn't feel it was powered to really address whether or not that medication could be used. The one thing that we do know about hydroxychloroquine is the fact that it does have several side effects, especially one that what we call QT prolongation. That makes the heart have a really hard time with repolarization, and if it occurs, can be extremely fatal for the patient that it happens to. So we have to be extremely cautious with that medication, and that's really the concern that most of us have in the community.
In some of the reporting I've read, Doctor, speaking of hydroxychloroquine, it's been used for malaria. It's also been used to treat lupus patients. With its popularity, if you will, coming around with the president using it, are we finding shortages of the medication that these other folks need?
Absolutely. Even in the pharmacy that we run here at the University of South Florida, known as Pharmacy Plus, we have experienced shortages for patients that were taking it for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. Normally, those patients are taking it at a much lower dose than what we would typically think of if it were to be used effectively for SARS-CoV-2. And so right now, there have been shortages. However, some states around the country were able to acquire large amounts of it in anticipation of the fact that it may actually be therapeutically effective against the SARS-CoV-2. And so some states have a lot more of the supply, but in general, pharmacies overall are experiencing shortages across the country.
All right, lots of information. We appreciate it so much, Dr. Kevin Sneed, professor at the University of South Carolina, Dean of the College of Pharmacy. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.